Letting go of the ego might be one of the most difficult transitions that one makes, especially in retirement. The identity that we've had in our careers was pretty much like the subject of our social gatherings. What do you do for a living? What interests do you have? And so, as an adult, through my whole career, I was able to say, hey, I'm the CEO of a large not-for-profit in Rockland County, New York. And I could describe all the things that our agency did, our mission, and give a little bit of a history of my career and how how it led up to me being the CEO of growing actually 3 not-for-profits. So that consumed a lot of my career and my identity. So now that I've been retired for 9 months, I retired at the end of December. I talked about the emotional transition of my retirement. I spoke about how difficult, how challenging some things are, especially when I was dealing with medical challenges. I was able to spend a lot of time, as I said in my previous videos, in my backyard, because I really couldn't do much. So it gave me a lot of time to think, to contemplate where have I been, where I am today, and where do I think I'm going? Well, I'm not really going anywhere, God willing. Hopefully I'll be around for a long time. I'm into healthy longevity, and I'm also into not developing a new identity. The ego is a funny thing. As I said, we're human beings, but we're actually spiritual beings experiencing human experience. So it sounds a little complicated, but I really believe that we have souls, and it was nice to hear a lot of other people's opinions when I opened up about that. It's evident based on a lot of people who've replied back to me and offered their opinions that they believe that we do have souls and we are occupying our bodies. So the challenges that we have is these transitions in life. If you live long enough, as I have, and I thank God and I'm very grateful for it, that I'm 67 in, I guess, 3 months. My math was never ever good. But 67 years and 3 months is it's a pretty good journey so far. I have no complaints. It's been a very good experience, but letting go of my ego, that's not the easiest thing to do, because who am I now? I'm not employed any longer. I gave up my leadership in 3 of the not-for-profits as the CEO of these not-for-profits. This has been my whole adult experience working in the field of mental health and well-being for individuals less fortunate than ourselves. So I've been very blessed to be able to do that in my career, to help other people less fortunate, so-called less fortunate than ourselves. So the other thing is being a parent of 3 children. I'm married still. I got a lovely wife. She still works. But my 3 children have been very successful with their education and now their careers. So they really no longer need me. I mean, they like that I'm still around. But, it's interesting to be an empty nester and have this time all for myself, which sounds very selfish. But I am working on occupying most of my waking hours doing this channel, which I do whenever my heart feels up to it. I have to be motivated to do anything. I don't want to treat this like a job. It's not a job. It's more of a hobby than anything. But I like the way it's going so far, because now I'm interacting with like-minded people like you and me, and I'm also getting a lot of curiosity from people who are trying their hardest to find their way in retirement. So most of the people that are subscribers to my channel are probably over 50, I would imagine. A lot of them probably gravitated to my channel because I started off doing things like living well beyond 50, but I kind of transitioned into more like living healthy longevity. What I mean by that is doing the best you possibly can where you are today with your life, and how can you avoid illnesses? How can you avoid aches and pains? How can you avoid taking medication or more medication? How can you eliminate medications? Well, I'm not quite sure about that, but I've been told that you can lessen the dose when you change your lifestyle. So part of this presentation today is letting go of the ego, and it's been not too difficult because I've worked on minimizing my ego through my whole career, because it was more focused on how can I help others, but at the same time, you're proud of what you do. You have self-pride. It feels good to talk about yourself and your achievements. Being a father of 3, still married, living in a nice community, having a great career. Well, I think it was a great career, and I think that's important that you feel positive about your career, because you spend so much time, your waking hours, pretty much working. So when I got up on Monday mornings, it didn't seem like a Monday, an ordinary Monday to, unfortunately, majority of the people, don't like Mondays because they have to go back to work. Well, I really wanted to go back to work. My Mondays were like Saturdays. It was great to have a Saturday and a Sunday and having the weekend off. But I was always ready to get back to work because I enjoyed it. I had a passion to helping others. I enjoyed, running 3 organizations. Worked with some fantastic people. I mean, real dedicated people who have hearts, who are also like-minded people who, wanted to help others less fortunate themselves. But now that I'm retirement, I have to let go of my ego, and ego's not a bad thing. It's a human thing. But the more I let go of my ego, the more I get in touch with my soul. And what I mean by that is, when we were kids, we didn't, before school, we played. We just woke up, we ate, we went out and we played, and everything was new, everything was exciting, everything was just like, wow, 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 wow. Well, you know what? Then we get into school and we're programmed. We're programmed to think a certain way, to be organized. You have to study, you have to learn this, you have to learn that, you have to behave, you have to fit in, you have to bop, 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 bop. And so that childlike attitude starts fading, because now you're preparing for the future, and the future seems so far off. But when you're a kid, the days are slow. I used to look at the clock, man, I can't wait until it's 3 o'clock. I want to get out and play. I was a daydreamer. I was not that good of a student because I daydreamed. I always wanted to be having fun, and I didn't really have fun at school. I mean, I enjoyed gym, I enjoyed recess, I enjoyed making new friends. I had some really good teachers and all that, but just sitting at a desk all day long and have to do this, have to do that. So it all paid off. I mean, I made it through a master's degree in public and healthcare administration, and it helped me with my career. So I'm very thankful for having the education, and it opened up so many doors of opportunity. But now that's over. no, I don't have that career anymore. So my identity has changed. I'm retired. What do you do? Well, I'm retired now. Well, what else do you do? Well, I don't tell everybody I have a channel, but more and more I am feeling comfortable about having a YouTube channel. Well, what's your channel about? Well, I'm not quite sure, but this is what I've been doing. And lately, people who are similar to myself, or I'm similar to them, or we have a lot in common, are saying that, yeah, it's amazing the transition you go through. So the transition of having a career and then being retired is now becoming more exciting. I was a little lost in the beginning because I was letting go of my ego and connecting more with what my soul is, who I really am. And that sounds kind of weird, but I think when you're a child, you're more connected to your soul. And then as you go through school and you're growing up and you're going through the growing pains, emotional, all these challenges. I mean, I look back, I don't want to do it again. I needed a lot of energy. I needed a lot of stamina. I really had to dig deep to get through a lot of that stuff. And I don't quite have the energy, the desires that I had prior, that I had when I was a kid. Adolescence was very challenging. Young adulthood was very challenging, and getting into a career that I loved and enjoyed was challenging. Being a parent, getting married was challenging. Having children was challenging, and so forth and so forth. And all of a sudden now I'm retired. And so letting go of the ego is somewhat of a challenge. But now that I've been retired since the 1st of 2025, I've connected with a lot of people who have shared their challenge with retirement. And it really comes down to really letting go of your ego, your identity, your pride, what you've done for most of your life, your adult life. That was your identity. Being a parent. I was a coach. I've been a mentor. I did a lot of different things other than my career. But being my children's father, being the husband of my wife Denise, I still have that, but it's not the main thing anymore. So I'm sharing with you today. I hope I'm getting to my point so I don't bore you, is that there is a transition, emotional transition. And I did a video on that, and also going with the flow. And those are two important things that we all have to do when we go through a change of life like this. The other thing was, living a healthy life, trying to avoid illnesses, So as soon as I retired, I had the 3 Mohs surgeries right in a row. And that was challenging. And all of a sudden, I'm pretty healthy, but at that point I didn't feel healthy. So my identity was, I'm a patient now. I'm an aging person, I'm a senior. Those are new identities. So it's exciting, and I am getting to the point where I'm accepting that. And, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And, for those who are not, if you're interested in this subject of living healthy longevity, transitioning in your senior years, finding new purpose, and trying to live as long as you possibly can with the body that you were gifted with. I think that's important, because for your emotional well-being and spiritual well-being, I think the longer that you live on this earth gives you time to really connect to your soul. And where I'm headed, my journey to death. Oops, I said it. I understand that, Kubler Ross, I studied her, death and dying, and it still applies today, you know. You could be angry, you can be upset, you could be in denial that you're aging and that you're close, you're one day closer to death. That's a song, right? I think it's Pink. So you have to go through those emotional transitions, the reality of your life, where you are. You're not actually can't wait for 3 o'clock anymore. You want to slow it down. What can I do until 3 o'clock today when I have my most energy? So letting go of the ego is not a bad thing, but you can go through a depression because you become lost a bit. Who am I now that I'm retired? I'm no longer working. I'm still a father. I'm still, I'm talking about myself. I'm still a husband. I still have neighbors who know me and they know I'm going through this transition because I share with them. But letting go of your ego is important. And as a human being, you still need an ego, but your ego has to soften, and it does soften the more and more you become more acquainted with your soul. Now that I don't have a schedule, you have to go to work and I have to be at appointments, I have to make these calls, and I have to get home at a certain time to take the kids to their events and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to do all that. So I'm filling in my time now. I'm filling in with all positive things that are going to help me live a healthy lifestyle, to hopefully that I will have a healthy longevity and avoid more Mohs surgeries. But I probably will have more because the damage is already done. I've had skin cancer since I was 40 and I'm 67 in 3 months. This is when people get the Mohs surgeries, and I've been having the Mohs surgeries for quite some time now. So hopefully most of the skin damage and all that has come to the surface. Who knows? They say that your cells reproduce after 7 years, that you're not the same person you were 7 years ago. And I can vouch for that because I look back at pictures of me 7 years ago and some of the activities that I was doing. I'm not quite the same person, but I am. So my soul is there. It's been there ever since I was conceived. I believe that. So now it's time that I, don't have so much of my time occupied that I have to do this, do that, do this. I could focus in on who I really am. And so that's letting go of the ego and becoming more in touch with your soul. And I'm going to stop right there because I rambled long enough. But this is where I'm headed. I hope you can join me. For those who have subscribed, thank you so much. And those who may want to consider sticking with me, I want to stick with you, connect with like-minded people like you and me. I think we could take this journey together. And the thing that I really appreciate and I'm real psyched about is the responses that I've been getting to these videos. So there's more and more people who are communicating with me. And I like that because I need communication. I need to, occupy my time. And, it's a good transition into retirement because I feel like I'm still helping people and I'm also helping myself. So this journey is very interesting. So if this is something that you think that you might want to be a part of, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up because it helps me to connect with more people like you and me. And perhaps we can grow together and help each other out. That's what it's all about, connecting to people. So I hope I can continue to connect with you. Give me some ideas, question what I'm saying. Please let me know if you want me to elaborate on certain things. I'm going to be an open book. I can't help myself. But I enjoy doing this, and I hope you enjoy it too. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope to connect with you again in the near future. Thank you so much, and as I always say, be well.